Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, worshippers of all ages, welcome to YouTube. My name is Sea Raptor, and it's time for more Scuttlebutt. Today's game in the background is brought to you by Tier 8 Italian premium battleship Roma. Roma's been out for a while, and I feel like she's still kind of underrated, kind of gets a bad rap. Yeah, her guns are a little trolly, and they are a little difficult to use. They'll reliably overpin most broadside cruisers, so you gotta wait. If you're shooting at a cruiser, you gotta wait for them to angle a bit in order to get the fuses to arm quite right, on the AP shells, I mean. But she has surprising stealth, really good handling. She's fairly tanky. So, I mean, there's a lot to like about this ship. She can be frustrating, but she can also be really, really rewarding. If you have one of these, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't have one of these, you get the chance to try one. Definitely try her out. She's not for everybody, but I enjoy the hell out of my Roma. She's a ton of fun. First and foremost, guys, most important announcement of the week. This week on Twitch, I am raising funds for the National Alliance for Mental Illness. You guys need to come by Twitch, hang out with me. I'm doing all kinds of goofy stuff to raise money. You can throw a few bucks in the kitty, and I'll take a spin on the Wheel of Misfortune, which means I have to play my next ship with the cumulative results of possibly no flags, no upgrades, stock modules, whatever. Okay, you can throw a few bucks in the kitty, and I'll put goofy stickers on or whatever. We're just having a lot of fun with it. The Wheel of Misfortune thing has been a lot of fun, so definitely come by, check that out. Saturday morning, I'm going to be continuing the fundraising drive, but also going to be adding in my 2,000 Twitch follower celebration. I've got a bunch of premium ships to give away. So swing on by the channel, hang out with me for a little while. Maybe you'll win some loot. If nothing else, you can watch me suffer. My regular viewers have been having fun, paying to make me suffer on stream, and it's actually been a hell of a lot of fun raising money for this. So definitely come by and check it out. So what's going on this week? Well, standard plug for the NA Forum Contest of the week. Check out the link below. Go find out the current forum contest. Get in on that action. Get you some free stuff. Usually there's camos available. Very commonly, they'll be handing out premium time. Just don't hesitate. It's a simple thing you can do every week to get some goodies just for playing the game. This coming weekend, of course, the 16th, I believe, of November is the Anchors Away Tour at USS Iowa in Long Beach, California. I got to go visit Iowa last year when we were in California as a part of Anchors Away Anaheim, and she is in really, really good condition. You should absolutely go visit this ship. The crew takes fabulous care of her. They have their own Twitch stream. I'll put a link down below. They stream sometimes, so definitely pay her a visit. Even if you can't make it for the Anchors Away event, you owe it to yourself to go visit Iowa. If you're curious as to what an Anchors Away event looks like, I just posted my video on the event aboard USS Texas last month. I'll put a link down there. Go check that out and let me know what you think. Again, just if you ever get the chance to go to one of these, just go. Don't hesitate. Just do it. Don't think. Just go. It's a ton of fun. Of course, as this is going live, 8.10 is here. The new patch dropped yesterday here on NA. Italian cruisers finally arrived with a new event, a new collection. Basically, guys, to sum this line up, the bottom half of this line is terrible. They are painful to play. The reload is atrociously bad. If you have the ability to free XP past the tier 2, the tier 3, and the tier 4. Certainly the tier 2 and the tier 3. The tier 4, maybe not, but the tier 2 and 3, don't play these ships. They're awful. Tier 5 is passable. Montecuccoli is okay. You can have a good game in her. It's a lot of work. The line really doesn't start to come to its own until tier 6 is Trento. Trento is very playable, though her shell velocities can be a bit of a challenge, and she's still not super well armored. Tier 7 Zara is a huge step forward. She's very well armored. The shell velocities start to improve, and by the time you get to Amalfi, the shell velocities on those guns are really, really good. They recently improved the ricochet angles on SAP for the better. They got a little better, so in order to help make these ships more comfortable up and down the line. So we'll see how that plays out, but the Italian cruisers are definitely a different look. They're not going to be for everybody. I suspect they're going to fall into that rarely played category, but we'll see how it goes. There is a new unique captain available, Luigi Sansonetti. He's available through the new series of directives that are coming as a part of the event. Filth raids continue. A new season of Ranked starts in a couple weeks. I was excited to learn Bliskavica, Tier 7 Premium European Destroyer Bliskavica, is now in the armory for coal. That's really awesome. Bliskavica is a really, really good ship. She's kind of been left behind a little bit by the meta and how people play the game now, but she's not a bad ship by any stretch. And British heavy cruisers have been added to the client for testing. I cannot wait to get my hands on these things. More heavy cruisers is always a good thing for me. I love heavy cruisers. Absolutely love them. Can't wait. Anyway, 8.10 is here, and lots of good stuff going on. Latest round of dev blog posts, all kinds of stuff in here. A lot of updates to test ships. Mines in Puerto Rico were further improved. Mines' reload was dropped to 6 seconds. Her armor scheme was buffed. These are really good changes. She needed both of these things. If you've seen me play this ship on stream, you know what I'm talking about. Puerto Rico's detection was lowered. This needed to happen. This is something I've been kvetching about since we first started testing this ship. I'm really glad to see this. They also made some changes to Tier 7 Italian Premium Gorizia. And I don't think there's much you can do to this ship to make it good. Like, it's just not good. They've basically taken a Zara, a Tier 7 Tech Tree Cruiser Zara. They've stripped away her offense. They've made her gun reload worse. They've taken away her torpedoes. And they've given her better hydro. They've given her hydro. They've given her really good hydro. And they've reloaded her. They've lowered her smoke reload. So she has so little offensive punch. It's really kind of sad. I don't know about this ship. I'm not sold. Anyway, I'll link those changes down below. They've announced the new Christmas and New Year's event. The big reward here is going to be the aforementioned Tier 10 Premium American Cruiser, Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, it looks like what they're going to do is they're going to have a series of directives and containers and a system. We don't know much about it yet. That's going to work over the series of several weeks, where you will build a Puerto Rico in a dry dock, basically. You'll build it from the keel up. And then when you've completed the ship, congratulations, she appears in your port. So that'll be interesting. There's a new shipbuilding collection coming with this. They've flat out said there's a lot more coming in 8.11. They haven't announced yet, of course. But look for 8.11 to drop in probably mid-December-ish. That's typical of the patch release cycle we're in right now. Lastly, there's going to be a new German commander coming to the game. A unique German commander. Germany's one of the only nations right now that doesn't have a unique commander. This guy's skills and bonuses look to be tailored definitely towards German battleships. He gets, reload bonuses for secondary hits and main battery hits. There's some healing in there, so it looks like he's going to help make your German battleships a little more tanky, a little faster reload. That'll be interesting. There's some more details on Tier 8 Russian battleship Borodino, which it's definitely not a Vlad. It looks more like an extension of the Sinop at Tier 7. I haven't played this ship. I feel like we had it for testing at one point. I don't honestly remember. And I'm not sure where they're going with the ship, but we'll scope it out. They've announced Tier 8 Premium British Heavy Cruiser HMS Cheshire. She is essentially a variant on the Tech Tree ship, instead of having, I think the Tech Tree ship, if I remember correctly, which is HMS Albemarle now, they've renamed her. She has 8 203mm guns, I believe. Might be 9. It's 9. She has 9. She has 3 triple turrets. What they've done with Cheshire is she has 3 double turrets, but these are 234mm guns at Tier 8. Now, keep in mind that at Tier 10 French cruiser Henri Quatrième is 240mm guns. So you're getting almost the same gun here at Tier 8. A Tier 8 cruiser, heavy cruiser, that is going to see Tier 6 opponents. That's going to be a really nasty surprise for a lot of people. So this is going to be an interesting ship to test when we finally get a hold of her. I'm curious. And in kind of one of the more controversial, head-scratching things they've announced in a while, they announced 2 new Pan-Asian ships, a Pan-Asian version of Tier 9 Japanese battleship Izumo, and a Pan-Asian version of Tier 8 French cruiser Charles Martel. What's not clear yet is, are these like premiums that they're going to sell or something that are going to stay in the game long-term, or are these just event ships for some kind of yet-to-be-announced game mode we don't know about? It's not clear. The announcement doesn't really make a distinction that I can see, and I'm still kind of wrapping my brain around this, so we'll see how it goes. This has brought a lot of head-scratching and consternation to the historical crowd, as it should, right? Because neither one of these ships ever served anything close to an Asian, any Asian nation ever. So there's like no historical precedent here, and I really think, part of me really thinks that they're part of some fancy one-off game mode that's coming for Lunar New Year, but we don't know yet. We're gonna have to see where it goes. The big announcement, for me, the big news of this week, it has nothing to do with in-game, and doesn't get a dev blog post, doesn't get doesn't get a main page post, but it's all of the personnel changes that have been announced within. Basically, I think they announced everything on Monday. You have to understand a little bit about how Wargaming has internally organized their publishing teams, right? At the top of the food chain, kind of in St. Petersburg, you have an executive producer. That person is responsible for the title around the world, right, as a global unit. And then kind of one step below that, each region has its own regional producer, right? So there's a producer for the EU region, a producer for the NA region, a producer for the Asia region, and so on. And each of these guys is responsible for, sales and marketing and special events and all this stuff within their own region, right? There's also, kind of at that same level, the live producer. This person is responsible for, as near as I can figure from the outside looking in, is responsible for like making the game, right? Overseeing the production, the patch cycles, what's going in, what's happening, and so on and so forth. So there's been a shakeup in this power structure. Basically, as long as I can remember, I think since the game has released, Evan, his actual handle is EV1N, but it's Evan, has been the executive producer for World of Warships. Apparently, his time in Russia is ending. I heard him say something, he had a visa was expiring or whatever, and they didn't want to renew it, or I don't know, whatever's happening. Evan is moving out of the executive production role, and he's coming to NA to be our regional producer. Now, the NA regional producer, up until for almost 4 years now, has been Boyarsky. And I've met both these guys. They're great guys. Boyarsky is stepping out of that role. He's not leaving the team, but he's going to take a step down, and they're going to put Evan into the regional production slot. To me, this is a win-win, right? Like, you're keeping somebody on the team who has the experience working with the region, but you're bringing in a guy who's just, obviously a demonstrated leader and an excellent guy. So I feel like this is a positive change. I don't feel like there's anything, from the outside looking in, it doesn't look like there's anything wrong what was going on NA, but I feel like this is just a positive step in the right direction. And I'll talk more about why I feel that way in a little bit as we get farther in. The other big change is that for a long time now, for I think about a couple of years, you're used to seeing Sub-Octavian. Sub-Octavian has been the live producer, right? We talked about what that role is. He's moving into Evan's slot as the executive producer, so he's kind of moving up the food chain a bit. Vessery, another name you may be familiar with, he's sliding over into Sub's role as the live producer. So a bit of a shake up there at the top of the food chain. For us at the player end, this is not going to be, you're not going to see much difference, right? You might see some tonal changes in how the events change or whatever. I don't know. There's no way to predict it just yet. But for me as a content creator, the people I interact with kind of behind the scenes on Discord and whatnot, that's shifting around a little bit, and it'll be interesting to see kind of where that leads us. The other big change that's coming, specific to NA, is the new senior community manager has started this week. If you remember, we had Radar X for a very long time, almost 2 years. Radar was a part of the team. NA has been without this slot for almost 3 months now. Radar X left back in August, and they've managed to find his replacement, a gentleman named Calvothe. I think I'm pronouncing it right, probably not. I haven't had a chance to meet or interact with him yet, but I'm hopeful, right? We need this. We need this person. We need this badly. The NA community team needs all the bodies it can get right now. They've basically been running on a skeleton crew for a while, trying to manage the forums, in-games events, Anchors Away, social media, all of the various community outreach things that happen on NA has basically, for quite some time now, kind of been handled by a very, very small, an understrength team. Let's be honest. Fem has been busting her ass to do everything she can, and it's just, it's phenomenal that she's been able to keep all the balls in the air without there being total disaster. So kudos to her and all the people helping her manage that process. Karmatika on the social media side, and everybody else. This is not good or bad necessarily. I'm just making everybody aware that there's been some personnel changes. For me, it's good, right? Like the people, we need the warm bodies on the NA side desperately, in terms of the community team. So I'm really excited to see that happening. And then on the producer side, we're gonna have to see where it goes. I've met both these gentlemen. I've interacted with Boyarsky a lot more because I see him almost every time I go to Austin. And he's a good guy, so I'm sure Evan is as well. Just the Discord interactions I've had with him will be good, and we'll see if there's any changes. I doubt it. Things seem to be going pretty well on NA at the moment, so I don't know that there'll be any major radical changes. But if nothing else, it's a credit to Wargaming that they try to move people around and promote from within. I see a lot of companies that don't do that, and I feel like that's something that successful companies do well. They're able to identify people within their own organization that have demonstrated skill at what they do, and they get moved up the food chain, and they retain those people, because that's the kind of thing that really breeds, loyalty to a brand, loyalty to a company. The demonstration that the company cares about not only your skill, but your growth as an employee. And you don't find every company on Earth that does that, and I'm glad to see that Wargaming does a lot of this, so that's good to see. Anyways, guys, that's probably all I really got to talk about here. Yeah, that should be good. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Check out the Anchors Away video. I've got some more videos coming up soon on the Red, White, and Bourbon event that I did up in the Hill Country last weekend, and also another video in the works on the National Museum of the Pacific War. So yeah, definitely stay tuned. More good stuff coming here on the channel. Anyway, guys, that'll wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in. Be safe out there, and I'll catch you next time.